Every time I swear that it would be the last time that I pick up a multi-effects unit because pedals and amps are the way to go, I'm impressed by another unit. My gear was getting bigger, I was lugging around heads, cables and whatnot, and it was just getting too cumbersome. So I thought I would take a look at the Hotone Ampero because it looked like it was a well-built, affordable multi-effects unit. It can simulate cabinets. You can import your own impulse responses, up to 10 of them, into the unit. It has a built-in looper with a drum machine, so you can play along with it. You can loop your songs and you can play along with the onboard drums. It's got a ton of effects. It's got 99 factory presets as well as spaces for another 99 patches that you can create on your own and customize however you like. It really has, as far as I'm concerned, everything that I need. Now, one of the other aspects that I really like about this unit is that it also has an expression pedal. You can actually use this as a volume pedal, you can use it as a wah pedal, or you can actually use it to control the parameters of certain effects, including your delay times, including other modulation effects that you want to play around with and you don't have to bend over and go into the menu. Now, speaking of the menu, the thing that I like a lot about this unit is it does have a screen here that is partially touch and is partially controlled by the knobs that you have on the top of the unit. Now, you have everything that you need right here at your disposal, including the volume knob. You have little knobs that are designed to control editing parameters of the different pedals that you're using, as well as global parameters within the pedal. And you can do a lot with just the menu knob, the volume knob, and these three knobs below the screen, because there are other sections that you can press on the screen when it's on to be able to go deeper into the menus and customize exactly what you want in terms of a sound. Now, beyond that, the back of the unit here is where there's a lot of interesting features that you can take advantage of. Now, first of all, you have a power input. You have a MIDI in, so if you're used to playing around with MIDI controllers, you can definitely do that. It has an on-off switch as well as a USB in. The USB in basically allows you to use the unit as your own DAW, and that's something that I really like about this unit. So if you don't have a DAW and you take this unit and plug it into GarageBand or plug it into Logic or whatever software you're working with, it basically allows you to go into the software and record directly into it, and that allows you to do that super easily. Now, we also have unbalanced outputs left and right, so you can actually go and split the signal and have a stereo effects. If you want to, you can definitely do that. You have headphone inputs. You have an auxiliary in, so if you want to plug in some MP3 player and you want to play along with that, you can. However, when you're plugged into your computer using the USB input, the unit will allow you to listen to music that you're playing through your computer, through headphones that you're listening to with the device. So you can actually tweak your sound using a good pair of headphones to get super close to mimicking the sounds you're hearing on those records. So beyond that, we have a little switch here. It's a little ground lift switch if you need it. And then there's two balanced outputs here, a left and a right. So if you're going into a board, you can use these. If you're going into a PA system or some other recording gear, you can definitely use that. Then after that, we have the guitar input. And here you can select whether you're playing an acoustic guitar, an electric guitar, or if you're just going in with a line in. So you can use that with for different applications as well. You can plug in an external foot switch to be able to control other parameters, including you can have an external wah, you can have a volume pedal, you can even have a regular switch which will allow you to control other parameters of the software that comes built into this unit. I mean, if I had to talk about all of the features that are built into this thing, including the actual software interface, I would be here for 3 days. Now, the other thing that I like about the unit is there's a little discrete button here at the front of it, and it's a lock button. And when you press that down, it basically ensures that none of the knobs or switches or anything can be tampered with. So when you're carrying the unit in your bag, you won't mess things up accidentally. The fact that the screen on the unit is not huge would seem like a negative for some people, but for me it's actually not a negative, and I'll explain why that is. When I had the Headrush unit, it came with a much larger screen, and I always was afraid that the screen would get broken because of how big it was physically. It's easy to damage a screen that size, and I think that this screen is much safer as an option so that it won't get damaged as easily as some of the larger screens that you see out there. Now, the screen is really flexible. It definitely responds well. I never had any issues with it, and I really like the way it works. Now, the real beauty of this unit is not only the fact that it's made entirely of metal. It seems very well built. There's nothing on the unit that's plastic. The switches seem very solid, and you have 4 switches here that have little lights on them so that when you press the button down, they actually light up and change color. And the 3 main switches are what you would use to switch between your patches. The 4th switch here can act as a control switch where you can actually use it to toggle different settings, so that, for example, if you want to have 2 different settings for your effects, you can do that. You can play, let's say, a regular clean sound and then have the pedal kick in for the overdrive when you hit the control pedal, or that can control the delay or the reverb or any combination of effects. And it's really, really interesting the way they work that into the unit. I did not get this unit sent to me, full disclosure. I just wanted to say that so that you guys know I'm not just hyping up the unit because I got it for free or something like that. I actually bought it myself, and so far, I mean, I've played it at home, I've played it in live situations, and I can tell you that, you know, the few things that I don't like about it have definitely been overshadowed by all of the good aspects of what it does well, and I think it does a whole lot well. The thing that I like most about this particular unit is the fact that it does sound very close to a real amplifier. Now, the patch I was playing through was like a cranked type plexi amp or something like that I put together relatively quickly, but I think it came through quite nicely, even though I wasn't using the best method to record it. If you have the budget, you definitely want to get a set or at least one FR speaker system if you're planning on doing any serious playing with a multi-effects unit. If you're trying to get good sounds with this unit going through an amp cabinet, you can still do it, but it's a little bit more of a challenge because you're always going to have the coloration of your amp or the speaker within your cabinet, and those speakers are typically not full response speakers, so you're definitely going to get like a mid-hump or some kind of weird coloration, which won't give you the full effect of the great sounds that you can get out of this unit, okay? Now, one of the things that I don't like about the unit is the fact that there are certain aspects and little bugs within the software that were released, and they're not major bugs, but they're still little things that I would hope that Hotone would take the time to fix. To be honest with you, they have been very responsive in the first couple of months after the unit was released. They already came out with 3 software updates or firmware updates, and they have made improvements, and I'm hoping to see another one soon. But right now, with all the craziness in China, with all the virus and everything, I understand why they haven't been quick at releasing the next firmware update. But I can guarantee you they are very responsive, and if you have an issue or you spot a bug or an issue with the software and you let them know, they generally will listen to what you're suggesting they fix, and hopefully eventually we'll get along to fixing it. The unit also has an onboard tuner, and to me the tuner works, but it isn't the best, most responsive or prettiest tuner I've ever seen. That was one of the criticisms I had of the unit. I think they can do better with the space that they're using on the screen for that tuner and offer us something a little bit more visually pleasing and a little bit more accurate. But it does work, and it does what it needs to do. Other aspects of the unit that I tend to find a little bit of an issue with is that they do have different display modes on the screen. You can choose to display the patch number or the text or the name of the patch in larger fonts. But what I find is that either one of those 2 settings is a compromise, because you can get a big number that refers to the patch, but then the name of the patch is too small to read. Or you can get the opposite, where you get the name of the patch in big letters here, and then the actual number of the patch is hard to read. So it would be great if they could just balance that text a little bit more so it's easier to read, because I often find myself struggling to see the actual name of the patch when I'm playing in a live situation. Trust me, when you start playing with all the variables in the software and all the different effects that come built into this thing, you'll soon find out that you run out of space really, really quickly with only 99 patches. It would be great if we would be able to use a little bit more than just 99. Now, the unit also comes with its own software that you can use with your computer, and it allows you to edit and go deep into the editing profiles of the effects, the speakers, the cabinets, the microphones, the IRs, everything that's built into this unit, and it allows you to really tweak to the last little, micro, nano second of that delay or that reverb, and really get the sound that you want to get from this pedal. There is a couple of things that are a little bit quirky about the software, and maybe those will be fixed in a later firmware update. For example, there's no real easy way to drag the effects that you have in the unit around, so that if you want to adjust your set list or move, let's say, patch number 25 into spot number 3, well, there's no real easy way of doing that right now. You have to basically override or, right over the existing patch, and that's a little bit clunky, and you risk losing some of the patches that you worked so hard to create. And you can squeeze it even more tones out of this thing by using your own IRs. It comes already loaded with a whole bunch of cabinets and a whole bunch of different speaker profiles and mic profiles, so you won't have to worry about not getting the options that you need. But if you want to really get something specific, or maybe get something close to the cabinet that you already have in your home or your studio, you can definitely load your own IRs with this unit. Definitely a great investment for any kind of tones that you want to get when you're playing in a live situation or at home. I appreciate you guys tuning into my videos, and if you like the content that I've been presenting here, please hit the little subscribe button as well as the little bell, so that you'll be notified whenever I post some more videos. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming your way, including more on the Ampero, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to play you out with a little bit more of the sounds from this unit, and hopefully you'll tune in for the next video that will be up in a couple of days. So guys, stay tuned for more right here on Addicted to Gear. See you soon.